JT, just wondering how much do you think the extra day will help Zach in Game 6?
I think quite a bit, honestly. I think the numbers kind of speak for themselves with how well he's pitched, not just this season, but his entire career with that extra day. And I think it helps most starting pitchers. I mean, just that extra day of rest. I don't know. I've never been a starting pitcher, so I don't know exactly how to define it, but they always seem to do a lot better and feel a lot better with that extra day.
And if the velo isn't what it was in those first 4 postseason starts, what kind of gives you the confidence that he can go out there and compete at a high level?
I mean, Zach's a competitor. Even in his starts this season when his velo hasn't necessarily been as high as it always is, he always competes for us. He's got the stuff to get the job done, whether his velo's at 90, 98 or not. He's got. As long as he's got his command and then he's able to attack the strike zone and work ahead of hitters, I'm not too worried about the velo.
Jesse in the third row on your right, JT.
I'm assuming Rob wasn't much different after last night's loss, but did he try to lighten the mood for a moment there after getting no hit? Was he any different at all when he came in there?
I think honestly he mentioned, hey, last time we got no hit, we turned around and won the next day, and that's pretty simple message, but it speaks for itself.
We'll stay there with Bradford.
JT, kind of an odd question to ask a Gold Glover, but team defense this year was a hot topic coming into the season and continued to be. But from your perspective, how have you seen that evolved as the season has gone along? And what have you seen during the postseason, how the defense has contributed to this run?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like all season long our defense has continued to get better and better. The guys have put in a ton of work with the coaching staff. They're out there every single day grinding. The infielders are out there taking early ground balls. The outfielders are getting reads, throwing to bases. There's been a lot of work that's gone into it, and we're definitely a better defensive club today than we were 2 or 3 months ago, and that's a testament to how much work the staff and the players have put in. It wasn't supposed to be one of our strengths coming into this season, obviously, but I feel like our defense, the way we played this postseason, is a huge reason why we're still playing today, because they've shown up every single day and made a lot of plays for us.
Up front, Matt.
Can you speak to the importance of this game, your last home game of the year?
Yeah, I mean, at this stage, every game is extremely important. They all mean a lot. Every win is one step closer to the ultimate goal. So, it's really important for us to after yesterday's game to try to get the momentum back on our side, heading back to Houston. It's obviously a great team we're playing over there, and we don't want to go back to Houston down a game. Obviously, today's a really big game for us.
Up front on your left.
You tagged Justin Verlander for 5 runs in Game 1. What's your approach now here in Game 5?
I think we just have to put good at-bats together, continue to do what we do as a team, and see pitches, swing at good pitches, and good things will happen for us. He's obviously a great pitcher over there. We were able to kind of get him in the last couple innings that he was in there, and if we just have a good approach and put the ball in play, obviously, pass the baton to the next guy and just have that mentality and just grind out at-bats, we should be good to go.
Second row on your right, Jim.
JT, what do you expect the extra rest that Zach Wheeler's getting? How do you think that's going to affect him tomorrow in Game 6?
I just answer that question. Were you in there? Yeah. Did you just get here? Okay, I'm sorry. Sorry. I think the numbers kind of speak for itself. He's been really good all year long when he has, and really his whole career when he has that extra day of rest. I think, hopefully his velo, he gets a little uptick in velo from that. But even if he doesn't, I mean, Zach's a competitor. He's going to command the strike zone, throw strikes, mix his pitches. But for me, I think the numbers kind of speak for themselves with having that extra day rest.
Can you tell right away in the bullpen if, he's going to be on, or do you have to get into the flow of the game?
Sometimes it's kind of hit and miss. Sometimes I can tell right out the gate, but there's other times where I can remember saying to Caleb, like, oh, man, he didn't look great in the bullpen, and then he goes out and has one of his great games. So sometimes you can, but not necessarily all the time.
Fifth row in the middle, Tim.
I'm curious in your thoughts on Christian Vazquez. I know you guys have been in opposite leagues your whole careers, but in the times that you've been able to watch him or occasionally play against him or otherwise interact in any setting, what have you thought of him as a catcher?
Oh, I think he's a great player. He's always been fun to compete against. I think he's really good behind the plate. He's a good game caller. He manages the pitching staff really well. I think he receives well. He pretty much does everything you ask for defensively, and then he's also an above-average hitter for a catcher. So, I've always enjoyed competing against him, and he's one of the better catchers in the game, I think.
Standing in the back left.
We just saw Jose Alvarado riding a bike around the warning track. A lot of players are dancing. What allows you guys to remain so loose even after a game like last night?
I just think the chemistry we have in the clubhouse, honestly, I mean, baseball's, it's a game of ups and downs, and, you're not going to win every game. And we kind of, we do a really good job in this clubhouse of putting bad games behind us and kind of moving on and continuing to have fun together. And at the end of the day, we're all playing a child's game for a living. So it's hard to go out there and be too upset. And I feel like we play better when we're loose and just having fun. And that's what we do pretty well as a group.
Anything else for JT? We'll do two more. On your right, JT.
Noah's one of the rare players on this roster that's been in the World Series before, obviously getting the start tonight. What's his attitude tonight, and what kind of attitude has he brought to the clubhouse in such a situation tonight?
Yeah, Noah's been great for our clubhouse. He's kind of, ever since he come over, he just gelled right away, kind of blended in, immediately. He really gets along with the young guys well. He kind of spits with them quite a bit, and I think on the mound, he's been a guy for us that's taken the ball and done well every time we've given him the ball. He's pretty consistent. He throws the ball over the strike zone a lot. He's going to attack hitters. He's not going to walk guys, which is huge at this point in the season. He's going to make them put the ball in play, and our defense is going to make the plays behind him.
And we'll finish up with Mark up front.
JT, one more question about last night. What made Christian Javier so effective?
I just think, for me, he stayed out of the middle of the plate. Even when he missed his location, he would miss it in the right spot, and obviously he's got really good stuff. He's got a really good fastball, really good slider, and I thought last night his command was great, and he got ahead of us really well, and he was just able to mix his speeds and keep us off balance.
JT, thanks so much. Best of luck tonight.
Thanks,
Appreciate
guys.
it.
Can you just talk about what the message was to your clubhouse after last night, but just to stay loose and use this environment and the fans to your advantage tonight?
Yeah, I walked in the clubhouse last night and I just basically told them to flush this. It's gone. And just remind them that we got no hit earlier in the season when we played in New York, and we came back next day and we won, and we played well. And that's what the plan is for today. So that was it.
We'll go to Jesse in the third row on your right.
Rob, kind of a weird question. Is it, if you're going to get no hit in the World Series, is it better to do it when you're up? And also, I mean,
right.
Honestly, if it was the first game of the series or you're even tied, it might have a more lasting effect possibly, but you had a game to spare, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, as I said last night, a loss, whether you had 20 hits or no hits. If you lose the game, you lose the game, and especially in the World Series. But I can see where you're going with momentum and things like that. But, we feel good about the club, and we're still in our home ballpark with our fans, and our guys have been, really resilient all year long. They come back, they forget about things really easily. So I feel good about it.
Left center aisle, fourth row.
Rob, do you think that process of flushing a game is any different when it's a game like a no-hitter or something that's that historic, or do you see any difference in the way your guys respond?
I don't think so. I just trust the character of the guys, and we've proven that earlier in the year. And I think somebody was telling me Don Larson's perfect game. Who were they playing? They were playing whoever they were playing.
Brooklyn, right?
The Brooklyn Dodgers won the next day as well. So who knows? Was it?
We'll go to Tim in the fifth row.
What have your impressions of Christian Vazquez been through the years, especially early when you guys, of course, saw a lot of each other in the AL East?
Yeah, I've been a big fan of his for a long time. He can really catch and throw, and his offensive game has improved over the course of the year. So he was always a guy that you go into Boston, do an advance report on them. He would be a guy that I would highlight all the time just because he can throw and he can backpick and he can do a lot of things. He was really athletic, could block the ball. So I've been a big fan of his.
Bradford in the third row.
Rob, I know you've been asked about the team defense a lot over the course of the season, and so I'm going to do it again. But can you talk a little bit about how that evolved towards the end of the season, especially with the personnel changes you made, at the trade deadline and after? And then what impact that aspect of your team has had on what you've done in the postseason?
Yeah, first of all, I think we played very well for a long period of time. You know, everybody's going to have their snafus here and there, but I think we played very consistent defensively. We did get a lot more athletic when we added Marsh and Sosa. The improvement of Bohm and Reese Hoskins and our corner outfielders, especially Nick Castellanos, has been immense. And I think the improvement or the evolution of our where we position guys over the course of the year has helped, and it's gotten better. So there's a whole bunch of factors that have gone into this, and you know, we played pretty well for a long time.
Fourth row on your far right.
Noah's the only starter in this rotation, at least 99% positive, with World Series experience entering this series. How has that experience helped this team, and what's his attitude going into tonight?
Yeah, I think he's pretty calm, pretty relaxed, you know. And I'm not sure if having World Series experience for Noah really changes him, because that's just who he is. So I feel good about him. You know, he's going to go out, he's going to pound the zone, he's going to try and mix it up and you know, change speeds behind the count, things like that. I think he's going to pitch well.
Standing on your left, Matt.
Dominguez has been down for 5 days, I think. Is there any concern about rust, or would you prefer the rest at this point in the season?
Yeah, I mean, I think we need to get him in there tonight, because if he doesn't pitch tonight, it's going to be, you know, a week between outings. So I think you'll see him tonight.
We'll go to Ron up front, and then we'll go back there.
Wheeler, your game 6 pitcher, and Suarez 7?
Wheeler 6, and we'll wait for 7. We'll see what happens, because Ranger may be available in the next couple of games.
Okay. Depending on the situation of...
Yeah, and depending on Ranger, how he feels.
Okay.
We'll go to the back left corner.
Rob, we saw Jose Alvarado riding a bike along the outfield.
I just saw that.
Yeah, and then we also saw a lot of players dancing and things like that. What allows them to stay so loose, especially after a game like last night?
I think it's just their mindset, and they've been through this before, where, you know, we've had rough games, and they know that they can bounce back. I'm not sure if I want one of our key relievers riding a bike around the ballpark, but nonetheless, it shows that they're loose.
And we'll go, where are we? On your left.
You mentioned you want to get Sir Anthony in there tonight, but with the way the last 2 games have played out, in a way, you said everybody's available tonight and when tomorrow's off day. I mean, is it really just all hands on deck these last 3 games, and how good do you feel about the state of your bullpen, given how late we are in the season? It seems like everyone's as fresh as they could be, maybe?
Yeah, I think so. I think the rain out helped. We got some extra days, and you know, I think they're all ready to go, and it is all hands on deck, and I think they are fresh, and I think they've proven that. I think our bullpen, other than the 5th inning yesterday, our bullpen has been clean, so it's been good.
Anything else for Rob? All right, Rob, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
La máquina deportiva. Hey, this is Nick Swisher, and welcome to the La máquina. Hey, this is Nick Swisher, and welcome to the Máquina Deportivo.